Hey guys, so today in this video I'm going to be going over the framework for balance and change. And so in this video I just want to go into like a little bit of the nuance of it. So the framework is specifically for balance and balance and change. And so basically there's 5 components. The components are freedom, justice, balance, and then wisdom and capability. So freedom is similar to change. It's basically the same thing. So freedom is action slash change slash movement. And then justice is rules slash requirements. And if you have pure justice, then basically nothing happens because everything's limited. It's like restricted. So because the universe isn't like that, and you have a mix of rules slash rules, and you also have freedom. You have basically only have freedom because the rules are limited and they're not infinite. And so because of that, you're able to have the freedom. Now the balance is technically kind of like one of the rules related to how the universe works, but I like to define this balance as the state of things. So the state of things must always be balanced. And yeah, I just like to visualize it as the state of things. And it's something you're always trying to tinker with, you're trying to improve it. And also just the universe through its change is also constantly tinkering with the state of things. And then humans, we tinker with the state of things, the balance, through 2 means. Now there's one direct mean, which is our capability. So our capability is how we directly affect the balance of things, so the state of things, the balance. But the wisdom is how we recreate the balance inside our heads. So inside our heads, we recreate the balance, and we don't do it in 100% of whatever we know. It's kind of like a web. It's like a net, and you just pick out a certain part of that net or that web, and you have all these different connections, and whatever connects to that point, that idea, that topic, whatever is relevant to that, will kind of get brought up to the surface of your head, and you'll start kind of making the connections, and you're trying to recreate the realism of how the universe works. So it's kind of a mental universe in your head, but it's not consistent. And there's the subconscious. The subconscious is more consistent, and not because it's literally constantly on. It's just much faster. So it'll do things faster, but it also does them less intentionally. Now the conscious will go slower, and so it's limited to how much it can calculate in a time frame, but it's a lot more it's done with a lot more intent and a lot more effort. So it's going to be more realistic and less prone to errors. And so that's kind of what you're trying to do in life. You have your wisdom, and that's you recreating that mental universe of the balance of the state of things, trying to understand it, how the rules work, how everything connects and is interconnected, your sphere of influence, your little bubble area, how that sphere works, that sphere of influence, like how is everything interconnected in that area, and what are your different options, right? You might not care about the galaxy like 100 light years away, but your planet and the solar system and maybe that small part of the galaxy you care much more about. It's much more interesting to you, and you really try to like understand it. So that's kind of related to that recreating in your head of the wisdom. Then there's the capability. So the capability is all about ability to change the physical world, and of course that's tied back to the physical ability. And so that's related to your your hands, your feet, your whole body, and also your brain. Your brain is powered by the physical, and of course the brain then controls the body to give you those instructions. But so it's kind of like a two-way control in that sense. Both are impacting each other. Um, and so just quickly to sum it up, you have the wisdom, the capability. Those are how you interact with the balance, the state of things, and how you try to change it, how you tinker with it. And then the freedom is your ability to, it's not the ability, it's the, it is the ability, to change things, but not, it's different from capability. So capability is your physical ability to change things. Freedom is the ability to change things due to a lack of pure justice. Now, there's hard justice. Hard justice is what is the rules set by the universe through physics. And you have soft justice. That's what we enforce in our society. And so if you don't enforce any justice as a society, then you have like zero justice, and it's just the laws of the universe, of physics, and people will be like killing each other, stealing, Now, people aren't just like naturally super bad people, but there is greed, there is ego, etc. And so, yeah, people will naturally do bad things. Even a lot of different species that aren't as organized socially as us with our society and like societies and all that, even them, they have a ton of like little rules and like little hierarchy, that they um, try to create some rules, some boundaries, and those boundaries help them, work better as a team. So, for instance, if one breaks like a really bad rule, like they kill a member, they might get like, um, you know, annoyed by the herd or the pack, and maybe they'll even get kicked out, um, etc. And so yeah, so the justice, the soft justice, is basically, it's soft because it's not the universe doing it. The universe does it so well, so strictly, in the sense that it's just so absolute that it's like a hard justice. Now, humans can't do it to that level, absoluteness. That's why it's more of a soft justice, and you want to make it less soft, because if it's too soft, if it's even just non-existent, then that's the problem when it's just complete freedom. And the problem with complete freedom is that, like you're seeing in this framework of balance and change, there is balance. And balance is a very simple concept. You have +3 because you have -3 somewhere else. So when you take something, you are naturally subtracting, or basically, yeah, when you're taking something away from something. It's not magic. It's not like things are just popping out of thin air. And so we have to remember this. We have to like remember that, energy is life. When you take energy, you're stealing energy from other sources. If I just take all your blood, that's an energy form, that's a mass, and I'm basically just killing you because I'm taking your blood. So that's an example of how energy is life. And so we need to kind of remember this and understand that you don't just magically get life. Life comes from energy, and that's kind of a big part of the balance. When you're moving around all that energy, like change is just movement. And because change is just movement, then it's really just how you move that energy, which is what matters. So when you kill someone, you're usually moving the energy away, or in a bad way, or you're moving energy in a bad way. So for instance, when we radiate heat, it's not really a problem. That's actually how we regulate our body balance. But if you take out the blood and you do it too fast, right? If you like take out too much too fast, then the person will die, because their body doesn't have enough time to reproduce the blood in the body through food, eating food and water. And so if it can't do that, then it can't recreate, not recreate, but like change the body chemistry to add more blood into the system. And if it can't do that, then you're going to die. So that's basically that whole idea of balance. And then, of course, too much energy going in is like a bullet hitting your body, and it ruptures, it breaks a bunch of your internal organs. And then the same idea. You are killed by high energy going in a bad way. Now, when the sunlight hits you, that's not a problem because it also kind of helps you regulate your body balance through heating you up. So if it's a cold day and you have the heat, it's not going to be a problem. If it's like already, super hot and you're overheating, then it might start to become a problem. So it's all about the balance. And the balance is just the current state of things. So the current state of things, and of course it could be a state of things if you're just theoretical, you're just imagining, you're trying to plan ahead, then you can also visualize those future states of things and those past states of things if you're trying to understand history. But it's always about this idea of the state of things all at once. And if you want to ignore certain parts because it's too big, it's too much distractions, then you can simplify it, not literally by simplifying the specific area you want to understand, but just taking away the external parts at a certain level, right? So if you're trying to understand the solar system, you don't say, oh, we're going to ignore the stuff right around the solar system. You'll just say we're going to ignore most of the galaxy except for the stuff right next to the solar system on the outside. And then, of course, everything inside the solar system you also want to focus on, and much more. So it's like a gradient of focus. But anyway, so that's the idea. Just a little more information on how this framework for balance and change works. Remember, it's not like a catch-all framework. It's just a framework specifically for how you balance and change. Balance is good. You want balance, but you also want change. And you're just trying to make sure you don't like kill everybody with your change. And you're just trying to make sure that the balance is good balance and it's not some shitty balance. And so you're always just trying to, do some balance with the two. It's like a little dance, a little bit of tinkering, and you just try to get them both right. And it's also, you have to pay attention to time. I could like technically maybe add more, like more parts to the framework. Like you could, I don't know if you wanted to, you could say, oh, time and space, those are like the dimensions, the main one. But I just wanted to keep it simple, to 5 things. And I think, a lot of people understand time and space, but I think a lot of people ignore like wisdom, capabilities, and a lot of people also ignore like freedom versus justice and just how those things relate to each other. And same with balance. I think, time and space people understand it pretty well. So I don't know. That's why I didn't include it in the framework. But anyway, if you have any feedback for me, I'd appreciate it. And you could just like put that in the comments. Thank you guys. See you next time.